You know, Belgium is known for this chocolate. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. So, and also for this. I don't know if you know that also. That's in Europe how the French fries, but it's come from Belgium basically. And also for this, I don't know. Belgium waffle, yes. But also, Belgium is known for this, for beer. This is a very old coffee house where they prepare their beer by themselves. Beautiful houses. And Belgium is known for this. You know, Brussels is a very old city, more than 1,000 years. Not only Jerusalem is also Brussels is an old city. And I grew up in this environment. And I didn't know that I was lucky in a way to be, you know, influenced by the surroundings. And for me, Magritte was a part of my life. You know, at school, in the streets. Today there is an underground with some copy of Magritte. You know, it's part of the life of the children in Belgium. And painters and people are drawing in Belgium is a very common thing. Beside Magritte, we had also very known painters like Bruegel, Rubens, the Flemish painters. You know, it's, yeah, a lot. Yeah, there are a lot. And also the surroundings, I mean the architecture in Brussels, it's known as the capital of the Art Nouveau in Europe. And plenty of houses. When I was a little child, I didn't know it was so famous. For us, it was a common thing. And also this. This is a picture of Les Ballets du XXe siècle in French. In English, I will translate it by the dance company of the 20th century by Maurice Béjart. And when I was a teenager, I was going to watch and I was dreaming to be a dancer. You know, but at that time, it was not good to be a dancer because dancer means that you are an homosexual. It's not good. Better to play soccer, you know, for a guy. But I enjoyed so much. And dance was an important thing in my life, even today. I enjoy to see ballet and but the main issue, this is Brussels. When you are coming out from the train station in Brussels, you have two things. The smell of the chocolate, because the main industry was near the train station, and this kind of very strange sign, you know, above a very stupid building in Brussels. It's Tintin. And there, they published the first comics. And in fact, Brussels and Belgium became the capital of the comics in Europe. Today, the French pretend that they invent the French fries and the comics, but it's not true. Much later, when I present one of my feature films in an important animation film festival in France, in Annecy, there was a woman, she was looking for me. And then we met. She told me, her name is still Paulette Smets. Paulette, she studied at Bezalel during the 50s. And she met a Belgian journalist. She married him and she moved to Belgium. And she started to work with Hergé, the author of Tintin, and later in the animation film of Tintin. Because there, in this building, they established the first animation studio in Europe, in west of Europe, of course. I'm not speaking about the east. And they produce a lot of animation feature film of Tintin, the Smurf, if you know that. It's come from Belgium too. And during this time, I grew up, and my dream was to make animation. I didn't know what it was. Of course, I have no idea. It was a bit difficult, but for a child, it's a dream, and it was nice. And Tintin was a kind of hero for all the children, especially in Brussels. with the adventure, and we were waiting. Every year there was a book published, and every week there was a story published in the Tintin magazine. Even on the streets, on the building, this is a painting, paint on the walls. There are plenty of it. In Brussels, if you have the opportunity, it's very nice to see all this fresque paint on the building, including comic strip painted on building, beautiful. And this is Hergé. Hergé, there was a lot of noise telling that he was Nazi during the war. It's not completely true, and it's not completely wrong. But that's another story. But for us, he was really a hero. Okay, I'm jumping a little later. When I was 20, I immigrated to the kibbutz, because then at that time I was convinced that I have to build a new nation and to be a farmer in a kibbutz, When I came there, it was nice, but somehow it seemed that it was not enough. And after the Yom Kippur War, I started to study at Bezalel. And at Bezalel, I discovered, we had lessons and courses and meetings, and there I learned, in fact, the first base of animation. That's a picture in Bezalel, in the front of the historical building. I don't remember what it was, the story. I had black hair at that time, I can see. Yeah. But I started my career there, on the bench, there. But there, I met this man, Emanuele Luzzati. I don't know if you heard about this guy. It's an Italian animation filmmaker, but also is doing the background, the scenography of the Scala di Milano. So for many years, he was painting the scenography. He's very known. In Italy, he has a museum in his name. And every year, he was coming to visit his sister in Kibbutz Ruchama. And at the same time, he came to teach us at Bezalel. And then I discovered with him how animation and music are so close to each other. Because I don't know if you will remember the name, Emanuele Luzzati, but this guy was making animation with music, especially with opera, because he was making the scenography for the opera at the Scala di Milano. He made a few beautiful films. He was nominated twice for the Oscar with Puccinella, and the other, La Dragazza, it's I translated here. Wait, in English, it's difficult. It's called La Gazza Ladra. No, I didn't. And also, he made the Magic Flute of Mozart. Beautiful. It's really something that changed my life. Really like that when I saw it. Because before, I was drawing comics, little joke here, little joke there. And with the dance and the music, I started my career in animation, in fact. That's from the Magic Flute of Emanuele Luzzati. It was shown here during the Festival of Jerusalem. I don't remember when, to be honest. But I remember when they released the film here in Jerusalem. Later, he made an animation film for the Museum of Migdal David. I forgot the name. I think the Monster of Jerusalem. No, it's not the Monster of Jerusalem. Something. It's not so good film, but his film with the opera are much better. So we stay friends, I have to say, and I met him later during the festival. And now somehow I'm invited almost every year in Italy. There is a festival of Israeli film in Rome, and for them I'm kind of the son of, It's not true, but because he was my teacher at Bezalel and he's Jewish and I'm Jewish, they enjoy it so much. So, but I accept it. You know, they invite me, so it's nice to come in Rome once a year. Here, it's at the television, Israeli television. My first step in animation. It was just when I finished. I think the day after I finished Betzalel, even 1 week before, I started to work at the television, and for 2 years there, I made my first footsteps in the world of animation. It was not easy, but it was fantastic because at that time, the Israeli television, you know, we create everything. Nobody has experience for nothing there, for sound, for animation, for everything. So I had opportunity to do what I want. It happens once in a life, you know. Now I would like to show you, and at that time also we start to make animation for Sesame Street in Israel, Rehov Sumsum. Later, I worked for Sesame Street in the States, and also in the 90s, when I came back from one of my feature films, I was asked by the company, the American company, to support Shara Sumsum. It's the Palestinian films of Sesame Street. They made a common production, Israeli and Palestinian. At that time, there was a huge hope that it was possible. So in '96, I was once a week in Ramallah working with Palestinian animators. Unfortunately, I have no copy of this Palestinian one, but I will show you the Israeli one. I think the film is from, not sure, because I didn't know I will come today here at that time. Don't touch. Yeah, you know, we have technical problem with the sound, but you understood a little bit the spirit of it. I think it was in '83, something like that. So not today, even not. But it was for me the first opportunity to work with the industry. I made a lot of shorts like that for the Israeli TV and later for the States. And then, I don't know if you know that, I was asked by a producer in Israel, an English guy. He had an idea to make some nursery rhymes for kids because there was nothing at that time for kids like that. And we produced 100 שירים ראשונים. You know that? And שירים קטנים, you know שירים קטנים, it's even earlier. So שירים קטנים, it was the first one. I think we sold like 1 million VHS in Israel during all the years. It's unbelievable. I'm not rich because of it. It was not a good deal, not even for the producer. But because, you know, the problem with the VHS, there are a lot of pirates. They stole, they sell, and this and that. So, but still today, שירים קטנים, 100 שירים ראשונים, it's still broadcast on the children's channel. I think it was end of the 80s. So how many years? 30 years. It's unbelievable. But when I finished the production of the nursery rhymes, I said, why not to do the same for the French audience? So I knew a Swiss poet called Henri Dess. And I suggested to the French TV through a friend that maybe I can make a little series for the French TV. I came from Israel, I started to find some money to travel to Paris. I came to Paris. I was astonished that they invite me to present the project. And they told me during the meeting, okay, it's okay, it's interesting. I said, okay, what means okay? Yeah, we want the film. So I started to be afraid because it's 13 episodes of 3 minutes. It's not easy. And we want to have it for next year, for next Christmas. And that was my first big production. this one. I will show you one song, a little song of it. It was very, very popular, this one. I hope it works. Okay, I will speak during the... So it was very short songs. At that time, it was very complicated also to produce those films because it was made on celluloid. We draw on paper and cells, and we shoot with camera, lab, etc. So it was extremely expensive also. And I worked not in Israel. It's in French. In French. So at that time I worked half in Paris, and then the production of the film was done in Budapest. And in fact, it was the first time I really worked with huge studio. And Hungary at that time, it was in between the West and the East. They work with the same technique and material like in the West, but but cheaper. So they sent me there, and I made a lot of production later with Hungarian animators. Today it's free and liberal country, and The Legend of King Solomon was a co-production between Hungary and Israel, and it started here with this film. It's very known in the French countries and it opened me other opportunities. At that time, I thought maybe to make a feature film based on Isaac Bashevis Singer, short stories for kids. And I told my French producer, I have an idea. Maybe we can do that. You know, there is nothing done with Jewish culture. So we approached Bashevis Singer was an old man at that time, very tough guy. He had a very tough agent too. Somehow we got some money from the French Foundation for Cinema, and also we found a co-producer in Germany, and we had enough money to pay Singer and to start the production. At that time, it was also very rare animation feature film in Europe because it was expensive for this reason. I will show you a little part of the film, but during that time, when I made this production, I met a man in Paris. My assistant told me, you have to meet him. His name is Paul Grimaud. Paul Grimaud is considered like the French Disney. He made a very famous film called Le Roi et l'Oiseau. In English is The King and the Mockingbird. It's a beautiful film. He won a lot of prizes. And I was quite young at that time. I had gray hair, not white, but not black anymore. And my assistant arranged a meeting with the guy, and he really loved my project. And we started to work in his studio in Paris, and he became my mentor. This is one picture of The King and the Mockingbird. And this is Paul Grimaud. That was the day we made a party, the day we moved to Budapest. I will show you, it's a very sophisticated. That's Lionel, my assistant. That's Paul Grimaud, and that's Paulette Grimaud here. That's me, I don't know if you recognize. And the day we made a party, and then the day after, we moved to Budapest. The production, you have to know, took 4 years. I moved with my family there. We worked 2 years in Paris, 2 years in Budapest. In general, an animation feature film takes 4 years. So when I'm looking about my work, it's incredible. I made 7 feature films in my life. By 4, it's a lot of years. So now I'm thinking to make another one. I don't know. Maybe. I'm sure I will. I have no choice. Okay, the stories were based on children's stories by Bashevis Singer. I wrote the names of them because I don't remember them. In fact, Zlate the Goat, The Fools of Helm, and The Stupidest Carp when Schlemiel went to Warsaw. That's why the film is called the real Schlemiel. And then the land tour. The land tour, that's the land tour. It's a little character that Bashevis singer create, and we use it for the film. Okay, now we're going to see, maybe without sound, it's a pity a little. I will tell you why. Because we wrote 6 songs for the film. It's beautiful music made by Michel Legrand. Do you know Michel Legrand? Yeah. Academy Award. Unfortunately, he died this year. He also was a friend of me, but I have to tell you about serendipity and, you know, wonder, because that's the topic of our meeting here. The project was on a table in the second channel in France, the channel I worked with when I made this nursery rhymes. And the guy had to read the script and decide if they will put money or not. That's the way it works. And Michel Legrand came to meet the guy. Also, he had an idea to make a film that he never did. And the guy, in charge of the production, went to the Louvre, and Michel was, in the meantime, was watching my scripts on the table. And on the same night, the same evening, I got a phone call from Michel Legrand, and he said, "Hello, it's Michel Legrand." I thought it was a friend of mine making a joke, and he told me, "I want to write the music for you." I said, "Okay, okay." And we met the day after. He said, "No, I'm really Michel Legrand." It was really Michel Legrand. And he didn't ask for, you know, fantastic money. He said, "We will see later with the money, it's okay." And he wrote the songs of the real Schlemiel and the music, 10 minutes, okay. And also, it was unbelievable, because at that time I said, it's a miracle, you know, Bashevis singer and Michel Legrand, and told me, "You know, I know of a good person to write the lyrics and the dialogues of the film." And he told me it's Sheldon Hernick. You heard about Sheldon? Sheldon is the guy who wrote Fiddler on the Roof, the script and the dialogues and the songs of Fiddler on the Roof. And then we met in Paris for 2 weeks. They wrote the songs. I remember that it was really like a fairy tale, because it was a bit out of Paris, the house of Michel. You know, he was playing with the piano, and Sheldon was singing a song. And I was sitting on a chair listening to this, and he asked me, "It's okay? Do you want some change?" You know, I have no idea what to say. So, unfortunately, the sound is terrible, but do you have an idea what it was? So it happened, no sound, but okay. It happened in little village, little shtetl in Poland. That's Schlemiel, in fact. And, you know, the film was sold in 60 countries. It was also kind of 6-0, yes. Yeah. And still today, it's screened on TV here and there. I get some, fortunately for me, some, yeah. And I have an idea maybe to release it again here. In Israel, it was released very badly. To change the sound, to release and to restore the film, because the film was released in '95, so it's 24 years ago. So hopefully in 1 or 2 years, I think I will be able to release again the film. I like it very much. It changed completely my life, you can imagine. Because when I finished the film, I had already a proposal to direct Baba, the King of the Elephant, with a Canadian company and my German producer. And when I finished Babar, during the Babar, I suggest my German producer, maybe I discussed some books. You will see the film in a few minutes. Maybe we can do this film too. And we suggest the project to Sweden and to Germany, and we got the money for it too. So the first film is always very difficult, you have to know. But when you are there, you are there. It's difficult to kick you out of it. So, and with this film, you know, it's a kind for me of a symbol of my life. And also, you have to know, I never had a good relation with my father. My father came from such a little village from Poland, immigrated to Belgium, and many years after, I had a feeling I have to do something with it, and that's why I made a film. Because when I was a little boy, I was joking about Yiddish and the culture, you know. I wanted to be a farmer in a kibbutz, let's say, to change completely. And when you became older, you understand a bit more. So, that's Helm. Yes, that's Michel Legrand. I will show you a little bit because there is a nice picture there. No, that's Michel Legrand, so need to do this. You cannot listen to him because it's in French, also and no sound, but I would like to show you the Sheldon and also the way we work, because we record Philharmonic Orchestra in Munich and Budapest. Then we moved to New York to record American actors in Broadway. That's for me also was a kind of dream, you know, to work with this kind of people. There are some American people here. Do you know, this is Tova Feldschuh. You know Tova Feldschuh? She was giving her voice for the goat in the film, yeah. I don't remember their name, unfortunately. And that's Sheldon. That's Sheldon, Michel, and me. Yes, so it was really a great moment. You know, I didn't know at that time that I had to make some picture. Fortunately, somebody makes some films around us. But okay, this is Pets and Findus. Pets and Findus, that's the books I told you, made by a Swedish author. And I made a film, the first film, and it was really a kind of miracle too. When the film was released, first the film was released I will show you, at the Berlin Film Festival. You know, I was really amazed that they took the film to be in competition at Berlin Film Festival. I will play it in the meantime. And in Germany, the film made 1.5 million tickets in theater. So every week they doubled the copy. So I was amazed too, and they asked me, let's make another one. And the second one, we made a little less, around 1 million. And later, but I made a third one. For the third one, I said, come on, I didn't want too much to make another one. I was what they call supervising two other directors. But it's still, in the north of Europe, it's a huge success. In Germany, I'm a star. They don't know me, but when I'm saying, let's say sometime I meet some students coming from Germany, they ask me what I've done. I told Pets and Findus, it's like they met God, you know, something like that. In animation, you don't know any director from any film, whatever it is. So I don't have a lot of time, so I would like to move to this one. That's another story. We started to work on the film. It was 5 years ago. Because I established the animation track in Bezalel, I feel that maybe I have to do something here after all these years. And somehow we succeed to get the money from the Israel Film Fund, the Jerusalem Film Fund, the Hungarian Film Fund, and the European Film Fund. And because those films, to have an idea, the budget is between $3 and $5 million. You have to know that. It's huge money. And also, yeah, I'm not sure you can get the money back. That's also a problem. So, and we made the film with young Israeli animator. The film was released last year. It was 6 months in the theater in Cinema City. We made somehow, in Israel, we made 40,000 tickets, what is not bad. Today, the film is on Amazon Prime and on a lot of countries. That's it? Haute camera. Okay. So, I will show you a little from the film.
What's the name of this film?
The Legend of King Solomon. It's based on, I forgot to tell you, on tales written. It's like Bashevis Singer. He took some popular tales and he wrote a book about the tales. And I took not all the tales, but I took 4 tales also. And I made one story, one script of it. And it's Bialik. And I did it because of the students, but not only, because in Israel there is no children film for children coming from Jewish culture. It's very rare. Long time ago, Spielberg made Nesiach Mitzrayim, the Prince of Egypt, was a kind of. This is completely based on Bialik. It's kind of new Israeli culture. So, and we succeed to sell it. What is a big issue also. It was sold in France, in Spain, and the States, all English speakers, and also east of Europe. So it goes well. So that's a part of the film. It's difficult to watch, but it's okay, you have an idea. And it's a co-production, so half of the film was made in Hungary, 41 minutes, and 41 minutes was made in Israel, in Jerusalem. And you cannot see the difference, to be honest, because the Hungarian animators have a long experience in animation. For the Israeli, it was completely new. And I think it's a kind of starting point, in a way. Because Vasim Bashir was a very important film, but the animation was not a great issue there. The art was great, the story was fantastic. The animation, for kids, you need to have a character animation, what we call very good animation. You compete with Disney, Pixar, with all those guys. We don't have the money like those guys, but you compete with them on theater. It's not easy. Okay, I have a lot of things to show you, but maybe, question? Q&A? Yeah. كذا مثال נכון, אתה מכיר? כן, כן. Regarding the little creature from the books, I gave them real life, also in the script. And also later it became a TV series, this little creature. It's a huge success in the north of Europe, from Belgium to Sweden. Somehow, France, they are not there. It's a different culture. It's very strange, but so, Ken. No, the Misheva. It's a good question. Film for kids, it's a very complicated issue. You have different categories. You have preschool. In general, it's for 4 years old to 6. From 7 to 10, it's infants. And then you have children from 10 to 12. And then it's young adults. That's what we call. I'm specialized, let's say, for 7 to 10. That the film was for kids between 7 to 10, because the story is not so simple. And also, there are some parts where the children can be really afraid. The bad guy is really bad. It's Asmodeus, Ashmedai, the king of the demons. So, yeah.
Just to know, there's such a difference between the old-fashioned animation and the new type of animation. As an animator, what is for you the differences in the work?
First, I have to tell you, this film was made completely with computer. You don't have the feeling was made by computer, and that's the point. So it was drawn with tablets into the computer, paint into the computer, etc. But today, the difference between 3D and 2D, it was very popular to make animation with 3D. In Europe, it's not so popular. They look all the same in 3D. Only Pixar made beautiful film. It's extremely expensive. In Europe, I'm considered in Europe like a European filmmaker. They ask me a lot, why are you living in Israel? I say, my wife is Israeli. Okay. Difficult to explain. But in Europe, they are working with a smaller budget and also with better stories. And also, as you can see, we are searching a language in the graphic expression also. In 3D, also there are beautiful 3D films, of course. In the film, we use a little bit 3D here and there, but it's more, let's say, like more arty, let's say. And these are considered, not today, becoming, there is a way back to this kind of film, to the classical, you know. Other question, or? Yeah.
I was watching Son of the Sea of John Paul.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And in continuation what you said, I saw that it's 2D, but they like add After Effects.
Yeah, also. Yeah.
Are you like trying to do similar things to what he does?
Yeah. You know, that's just the point. We use very sophisticated software like After Effects and other software, TV Paint. I don't know if you know that, it's especially for animation, but After Effects was we took a big part in the film to make effects, but still we try to have a look like a classical animation, not to be too much, digital, let's say. The kids, they love it, you know, they love this kind of feeling. After Effects. After Effects is a program used in filmmaking today. Slicha? No. The film, I can tell you the budget. The budget was $4 million for this one. What is extremely expensive for an Israeli film. Maybe one of the most expensive ever done here. But okay, I mean, you cannot have a less than that. You can, of course, always you can, but then, the film has the look is not good enough because you need to get the money back in a way. It's an industry. You have to pay salaries, you have to, and theater also wants to show the film, so they want to attract audience. What is not easy today with television, with, all kind of competition. Yeah.
In your career as an animator, I'm wondering how much of you did you identify as an artist or as a high tech?
Okay, today when they ask me what I am, I'm a filmmaker. So also for the people who are doing or making film, they always consider us like doing not very important films because it's for children, because it's animation, it's nothing. Today it changed their approach to the animation. You saw beautiful film in animation. And I consider myself as a creator, of artist, okay, but I'm saying I'm a filmmaker. I'm writing scripts, designing characters. You have to direct the drawings also, what is not an easy issue. But, we have a commercial purpose also in our films, like other films. You want to have a mass media with watching your film. It's not for a small audience. Like, let's say I cannot make a film for this audience, what can be nice, but...
Did that ever cause a struggle for you personally?
No, never, because, I came from design. Yes. I came from graphic design. I studied visual communication. And slowly I moved to this world, So I was not asking myself, really. I moved slowly. Even at a certain time, I was making some commercials too. Not maybe 15 years or 20 years, I'm not doing any commercial. Fortunately, I can do my own films. But I have no problem, to work with commercial issues. There is no shame, of it. I know that to be an artist, you have to be poor and depressed, but it can be different also. Um, what else? I may have something maybe to say. Yeah, you know, and also in this film, I work with a lot of extraordinary artists. When people ask me, how can you choose your collaborators? I'm always saying I think people better than me. So if you are, let's say, you have to work with an actor, you take an actor better than you. Even with an animator, is better than you. If not, you are doing the animation by yourself. You know, that's my, let's say, yeah, my concept, yes. And also, for this film, I work with the Israeli musician Adi Cohen. Today's professor Adi Cohen is working in Berkeley in the States. He's a fantastic musician because I worked with very known musician before. And he is a friend of mine, and he told me, when you are making a film in Israel, I would like to make the music. My producer were not very happy with. I struggled because I believe in him. He made a fantastic work. It's a pity we cannot hear the music, but I can tell you, we work with the Jerusalem Camerata and other musicians, 60 musicians in the film, with ethnic musicians. We had two choir. One is a choir of young girls, 40 young girls. There are a lot of voices in the music. What's the name? Makelat Bat Kol. You know Bat Kol? Makelat Bat Kol. They were fantastic. And also with Makelat Rana. Makelat Rana, it's a choir from Jaffa, mix of Jewish and Arabic women. And in the film, there is a song in Arabic, in The Legend of King Solomon. What is the kind of message also? Because Solomon, at the end of the film, married Arabic princess. So, and that's kind that we can live together, in fact. So, in the newspaper, they told, it was written that, yeah, there was a kind of message of peace, bad for the kids, you know, it's over their head. What I don't think it's true. They're never over the head of the kids. You know, they remember everything, every little details, every part of the story. It's very important, I think. Maybe the adults, it's above, you know, but not the kids. I think it's really a mistake. Something else I forgot. Yeah, other question, I know. If not, do you have something to show more? Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, I would like to show you how we record the voices. We use very good actors, but so a little bit you have an idea. Let's see if we can see it. That's Ruth Asar-Sai. She played the Queen of Sheba. She's an actress of Abima. So you will see a little bit how she played it. The original version was made in English by Israeli English speakers, actors, and then that's a dubbing, but they have to play, you know. It's not enough that you have the picture and that's the fox. He's playing the fox. So you can say a little of it. You know, when they play, they are not sitting. Yes, we are recording in a studio, and they are really acting like the fox, like the queen. You will see it now. And that was what was their name? Eden, and yeah, she was the Princess Nama. Yeah, they are married, so they discuss, you know. He was Solomon. You see, she's playing, really, she's acting, and also.
How long ago?
This, it was made 2 or 3 years ago. something like that. Yeah, it's quite new. Not completely new, but quite new. Yeah. Okay. So it's really a big issue. Only for the music, we work around 6 months to record the music because you have to write the music according to the frame. It's really precise. She was the nanny of the Queen of Sheba, Hanan Laszlo. Yeah. She was great. She was a bit prima donna, but she was great. And she looks like a bit like that's her character. But it's important when you are casting a voice that the color of the voice fits the drawing. So because you have the volume of the voice, he changed his voice. He was the counselor of Shlomo. What's his name? Forgot. His voice is very low, but okay. So you can see a little bit of the film also. He didn't play for the camera, He really was acting like that. We put the camera in the studio. He didn't know that we were shooting him.
If you compare this movie with the movies from Disney and Pixar, a big difference.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah, I mean, it's not, regarding the technology, it looks classical, not old, I would say. It's like in European production. What is strong in those movies is the story and the graphic language. Of course, we don't have the facilities like the 3D movies, It's a different issue. Okay. תודה.